Are you serious? Are you serious? You know, the death of David Rockefeller has brought back memories again of so many elitists who've talked about, pushed hard, and have formed societies even of a new world order, a one world government, or as the Bible calls it, the beast in Revelation chapter 13. There are some quotes, there's a lot of them, but I want to share just a few from prominent individuals who really spoke from the heart about a new world order. The Joe Biden, former Vice President of the United States, said, "The affirmative task before us is to create a new world order." He said that on April 5th, 2013. I covered that even in front of 1,000 bankers. He also said, "How I learned to love the new world order." He said that on April 1992. Then there was this quote by George H.W. Bush. "We will succeed in the Gulf, and when we do, the world community will have sent an enduring warning to any dictator of despot, present or future, who contemplates an outlaw aggression. The world can therefore seize this opportunity to fulfill the long-held promise of a new world order, where brutality will go unrewarded and aggression will meet collective resistance." He said that during the State of the Union address in 1991. Now, there was also a comment by former President Richard Nixon in February of 1972 while in China. He said, quote, "Each of us has the hope to build a new world order." And Mikhail Gorbachev made this statement in 1987. "We are moving toward a new world order, the world of communism. We shall never turn off that road." Listen to that. A new world order, the world of communism, because that's exactly the philosophy that communism is. Henry Kissinger, I call him the father of the Illuminati, just because he's not really, but I mean, the guy never goes away. He says, "I think that Obama's task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created." So he was hopeful that Obama would create a strategy for a new world order. And then there is David Spangler, who said, "No one will enter the new world order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the new age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation." Now, he was, of course, David Spangler, the director of the United Nations Planetary Initiative, one of the founding fathers of the New Age movement. Then there is another quote by David Spangler in the book Reflections on the Christ. He said these words, "Lucifer comes to give us the final Luciferic initiation that many people now and in the days ahead will be facing. For it is an initiation into the new age. No one will enter the new world order unless he or she will pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the new age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation." He said that in 1978. It was published in Reflections on the Christ by David Spangler, and it was also quoted in The Unicorn in the Sanctuary by Randy England in 1978. Now, there's more information as well. Here's David Rockefeller, who just recently died, and I've got more quotes from him, but he said these words, "We are on the verge of a global transformation. We All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the new world order. Now remember, the mayor of Chicago, who once was President Barack Obama's chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, said never let a good crisis go to waste. All right. Also, George H.W. Bush said on March 21st, 1991, he said this phrase. He said, "We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for the future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, rules all nations. And when we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping forces to fulfill the promise and the vision of its founders." Are you serious? That is what he said. Then there is K.M. Heaton. So he is the national educator. He said these words: "One of the least understood strategies of the world revolution, now moving rapidly toward its goal, is the use of mind control as a major means of obtaining the consent of the people who will be subjects of the new world order." So in other words, mind control will play a major role. And then there is this quote by Arthur Schlesinger, who was once the special assistant to the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. He said these words: "We are not going to achieve a new world order without paying for it in blood as well as in words and money." And then, of course, there is William Jenner. In 1954, a senator of the United States, he said these words: "Today, the path of total dictatorship in the United States can be laid by strictly legal means, unseen, unheard by Congress, the president, or the people. Outwardly, we have a constitutional government. We have operating within our government and political system another body representing another form of government, a bureaucratic elite." This is what Trump is facing right now. He's facing the permanent government that General Hayden called him, the permanent government that's not going away, or the bureaucratic elite. And then there is Saul Alinsky, who wrote the book Rules for Radicals and is the mentor of Hillary Rodham Clinton and President Barack Obama. He said, quote, "We must believe that it is the darkest before the dawn of a beautiful new world. We will see it when we believe it." And there's more quotes. Of course, David Rockefeller passing away opened my mind back up to the fact of just how influential he is, and he was. But Richard Sallant, the former president of CBS News, said this: "Our job is to give the people not what they want, but what we decide they ought to have." And then there's Tony Blair. Everywhere you'll find Tony Blair when it comes to New World Order. He made this comment. He said, "Our new world rests on order. The danger is disorder. And in today's world, it can now spread like contagion." Well, Henry Kissinger made another quote when he said in 1994 on April the 19th, he said, "The New World Order cannot happen without U.S. participation. And as we are the single most significant component, yes, there will be a New World Order, and it will force the United States to change its perceptions." All right. And then there's Nebraska State Senator Peter Hoagland. On a radio interview in 1983, he said, fundamental Bible-believing people do not have a right to indoctrinate their children in their religious beliefs because we, the state, are preparing them for the year 2000 when America will be part of a one world global society and their children will not fit in. Now, unbelievable, isn't it? Here's two more quotes by David Rockefeller, which should sum up his life for the most part. He made this statement. He said, some even believe we, the Rockefeller family, are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will, if that's the charge, I stand guilty, and I'm proud of it. And one more quote by David Rockefeller speaking to the Trilateral Commission in 1991. He said, we are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other great publications whose directors have attended our meetings and respected their promises of discretion. For almost 40 years, it would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the bright lights of publicity during those years. But the work is now much more sophisticated and prepared to march towards a world government. The supranational society of an intellectual elite and world bankers is surely preferable to a national auto-determination practiced in past centuries. In other words, David Rockefeller believed in globalization, a new world order, and communism, because that's what that all is. Well, he passed away at the age of 101. But his words and his beliefs and his doctrine is being passed on to new, up-and-coming, brilliant minds, really, who are trying to make a new world order. If you read the Bible in the book of Revelation, you know in the 13th chapter that this beast will rise, and this beast will be vicious. Daniel saw it, the fourth kingdom. He said it had iron teeth, ripping the ribs out of the others. And when John saw it in Revelation, he said it had 7 heads and 10 horns. And those horns had 10 kings, and upon those heads were the name blasphemy. And they constantly blasphemed Jesus Christ. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're living in the last days. And the New World Order, the beast, and its mark is about to rise. Are you saved? Jesus is the way.